Bonsoir, bonjour, bon après-midi, tout le monde. My name is Olina and welcome to the channel, The Frustrated Haitian. But today we're here to talk about Mr. Tom Brokaw and his comments.
Roundtable discussion on Meet the Press turned to President Trump's border wall, when NBC special correspondent Tom Brokaw had this to say about immigration.
The fact is, on the Republican side, a lot of people see the rise of an extraordinary important new constituency in American politics, Hispanics.
Noting most will be Democrats.
I also happen to believe that the Hispanics should work harder at assimilation. They ought not to be just codified in their communities, but make sure that all of their kids are learning to speak English.
PBS correspondent and NBC News contributor Yamiche Alcindor responded.
I grew up in Miami where people speak Spanish, but their kids speak English. Yes. And the idea that we think of American can only speak English as if Spanish and other languages wasn't always part of America is in some ways troubling.
But the fact is, on the Republican side, a lot of people see the rise of an extraordinary important new constituency in American politics, Hispanics.
Noting most will be Democrats.
Let's get this straight. The wrong type of Hispanics. They're not created equal. According to NPR, the Latino vote is often discussed as if it's one thing, meaning a monolith. But most elections show us anything but that. Ron DeSantis won twice as many votes as Democratic candidate Andrew Gillum, 66% to 33%. And that's leading some to say that the Cuban vote came out strongly on the right this time. According to a Cuban American pollster based in Miami, says the Democrats had hope to move what has traditionally been a Republican group towards their side, unquote. It's very important to acknowledge that Team Hispanic is not a monolith. 66% of Cubans specifically still voted for Ron DeSantis after his racist tactics.
Ron loves playing with the kids.
Build the wall.
He reads stories.
Then Mr. Trump said, "You're fired." I love that part.
He's teaching Madison to talk.
Make America great again.
My grandmother used to say a hit dog will holler, and it hollered through this room. Mr. DeSantis has spoken. Hey, first of all, he's got neo-Nazis helping him out in the state. He has spoken at racist conferences. He's accepted a contribution and would not return it from someone who referred to the former president of the United States as a Muslim, Nigger. When asked to return that money, he said no. He's using that money to now fund negative ads. Now, I'm not calling Mr. DeSantis a racist. I'm simply saying the racists believe he's a racist.
The acceptable Hispanics, Cubans, Venezuelans, Argentinians, Spaniards from Spain, anything closer to European. Since the stop of the wet foot, dry foot policy, Cubans are no longer permitted to come to the USA in boatloads, whom generationally voted Republican. There has been an influx of Venezuelans in Miami, which will garner more support for the Republicans. However, there's been no mention of this. We have an immigration issue, they say. However, that did not stop Paul Ryan before leaving his seat as Speaker of the House. House Speaker Paul Ryan pushes for thousands of Irish visas as a nod to his ancestral heritage before leaving office.
In one of his final moves as Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan is pushing for legislation that could provide Irish immigrants with thousands of additional work visas every year. On the one hand, some progressive commentators criticized Ryan for attempting to give additional visas to a wealthy European country while never allowing a vote on legislation to protect dreamers. On the other hand, the far-right publication Breitbart called the bill an amnesty for Irish lobbies and claimed it would give jobs to Irish graduates at the expense of Americans.
This drink's on me. Sláinte.
What's the real issue? More people of color that will be voting Democrat? Also helping the whites become more of a minority? Dear negative Nancys, remember this video? You African Americans keep saying that go back to Haiti, please understand, and this is going to be short, you are stronger with us than against us. This anti-immigration and anti-immigrants amongst Black folks is one of the stupidest things you could ever do or ever say. You think it's just a coincidence that the United States of America allowed European folks to come in this country so easily? Do you think it's just a convenience? No, it's not a convenience. It strengthens their numbers. According to AmericanProgress.org, overall, nearly 11,000 DACA recipients are from countries where more than half of the nation immigrants to the United States are Black. Given the number of Black dreamers, it is all the more imperative that Congress comes together and passes the Bipartisan Dream Act to allow these dreamers permanent protection from deportation and the ability to live full and free lives in the United States. I do believe that Black people will become more of an afterthought in this country if we're not focusing on Black immigrants and the Black population in our country. CBS, with their pick for the 2020 election, has told us no to Black immigration representation, as well Black American representation. Check out their 2020 campaign reporters. The years of the anti-Black immigrant rhetoric must come to an end in our community. When any Black person wins in this country, it's a win for the Black community, especially for our people around the world. It's called advancement. Immigration is not a Central American, Mexican, Hispanic concern only. CNN, Fox News will frame this as a Hispanic problem, but it is not, leaving Black immigrants out of the conversation. It will impact the Black community as well, so fighting for Black immigrant rights is important. His job, meaning Tom Brokaw's job, has always been to converse with whomever and relay the information back to us, the public. So switching the narrative or not acknowledging exactly what he says is problematic. The next clip is Tom Brokaw quoting himself, which I partly agree with.
I also happen to believe that the Hispanics should work harder at assimilation. They ought not to be just codified in their communities, but
now, it is important to acknowledge that the Spanish-speaking community has privileges that other immigrants do not. Main example, press 1 for English, press 2 for Spanish. They're not forced to learn English because the system caters to them. Not acknowledging this is not acknowledging the systematic issue we have had in the United States with other immigrants. The immigration line only has the option English or Spanish. All others must make an appointment to go to the office with their own translator. Mind you, getting an appointment is not easy.
I just can't imagine that this is really how people view Latinos. And I always wonder, like, if people were speaking French, would that be considered like degraded? Like, oh, they're speaking French. No, it's looked upon as like, oh, you're European, you're so fancy, right?
Are you serious? This is not battle of the colonizer's language, nor are we playing the oppression Olympics. Just like Spanish, there's many countries in the Americas that speak French that are not European. The Republic of Haiti, Canada, Martinique, Guadeloupe, Saint Barthélemy, Saint Martin, French Guiana, and last, Saint Pierre and Miquelon.
If you speak Spanish, it's looked upon like, ugh, so like, and that's so hurtful. You know, my dad speaks Spanish. He doesn't speak English, and he's been here for a very long time, but it's because of him that I'm bilingual, and I'm grateful for that.
No, Adrian, I'm sorry. There's 8 countries in the Americas that speak French, and they're not European, nor catered to here in the United States, although 5 to 6 are French territories. My mother, like your father, has been in this country for a very long time. However, she speaks okay English, and because of her, I am bilingual. But the wrong bilingual. Your father has privileges that my mother will never have. So let's focus on what's really going on. Acknowledge your privilege, because speaking French or Haitian Creole does not get me to the head of the line with immigration. Unlike you, I need to make an appointment, and we're not European. I am a Haitian, Caribbean, American woman. Should I say it again? Acknowledge your privilege. According to AmericanProgress.org, well over 1/4, which is 29% of Black immigrants 25 and older holds a bachelor's or advanced degree, similar to the rates for all immigrants, which is 30%. Additionally, Black immigrants are more likely than all immigrants to have some college education or an associate's degree, 29% versus 19%. You hear those numbers, right? These education attainment rates for Black immigrants are similar to those for native-born Americans at 32% and 31%, respectively. Black immigrants are more likely to be active in the labor force than all other groups of immigrants. Almost 3/4, which is 73%, of Black immigrants 16 and older are in the labor force, compared to 67% of all immigrants and 64% of native-born Americans. Now the question I have, why is Black immigration not a topic? So I hope you guys stay tuned to part 2, which is going to be posting next week. I did not want to be that person that posts a 20-minute video. So I hope you enjoyed. Please comment below. Please subscribe, because I do have more videos coming up.
Okay.